You're watching Nevada Business Chronicles. Take a journey with us to see the innovative businesses that put Nevada on the business map. Connecting you with the businesses, events, and organizations that bring innovation and prosperity to the Nevada area, please welcome your host, Mitch Burney.
We're here at Blind Dog Coffee with Yulia and Ian Berry, proprietors and roast masters. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Blind Dog Coffee, there's history and a real meaningful story how this company got its start, if you wouldn't mind sharing that.
It really started about the age of 2 for my father. He had a cancer called retinoblastoma, and at that point in today, the survival rate was extremely low. My grandparents took him down to Stanford, which was about the only place that knew about retinoblastoma, and the left eye had to be immediately removed. And the right eye was able to be heavily radiated. For the next 46 years, he's able to see until he was 48. At that point of 48, he's driving down the road and realized that his vision was starting to be impaired, just like you were drinking. And he thought that he wasn't drinking, but he thought, oh, I need to go get my eyesight checked. Called his doctor, went in for an eye checkup, and that was the end of his eyesight. It was starting to deteriorate. The radiation was starting to deteriorate the retina and the optical nerve in the eye. And from then on, he had a year and a half to learn how to do something new. And that is where the coffee from Blind Dog Coffee started. Was he had a year and a half with friends in the business to call, to test, to sample, go to classes, and learn everything that he needed to learn about the coffee industry. And from there, he was able to roast and start planning out his business. Blind Dog Coffee was really going to be a roastery with a bunch of coffee houses. That was right before the crash of 2008. And so he went from that to take me to the closest grocery store so I can see if I can sell a bag of coffee. And at that point, he wasn't even really roasting the product. He just knew what he was going to do. Went into Scalari's, and Scalari's gave him his first opportunity to sell coffee. Went to Whole Foods. Whole Foods said, go ahead. And once he had Scalari's and Whole Foods, he went to Rayleigh's. And Rayleigh says, yeah, if you've got it in those stores, we'll put it in ours. And this was all before he even had a product to sell.
Wow.
The roasting of the coffee really just takes our senses. And with that, he was able to take about a year and a half before he was fully blind of learning the different processes and what happens in the roasting. And once he was able to roast coffee, well then Blind Dog Coffee was created. Right now we're in a process where it's going to bottom out. It means that the heat and the beans are going to become the same temperature at a certain point. It takes about a minute and a half for it to bottom out. And then we'll just make certain adjustments as that bottoms out. The process changes. We don't want too much air in the beginning, but then as it gets later on the roast, we want more air. It'll help clean out the roasting. There's multiple ways to do a technique. My dad's technique created was doing your develop in the middle of the roast. So as I go through here and I get to certain temperatures, I have to adjust my airflow, my damper. That way the developing of the coffee is developed right. With all of this here this is just roasting air. It's allowing me to adjust how much flow so the smoke doesn't sit and accumulate in the roaster, and that way we don't get a smoky flavor. For certain roasts, we want that smoky flavor, like the Death Valley French roast. I won't adjust my air as much. You can already start smelling the fruit. You can smell the vinegar and the fruit on that one. Ooh. Right now you hear the first crack. That loud noise, that rumbling of that crack, that's the first initial crack of the roasting process. That's when the bean is starting to expand. Now we're dry, there's no more moisture in the bean. That is left at the first stage of mylar, which is about 310. It's when your bean starts going from a green to an orangish color. Right here, what I'm looking for when I take these beans and I crack them open and look, I'm just looking for evenness of the roast inside throughout the bean. And then what I make sure is a nice roasted bean should be able to crack nice and easily. When you look in there, we're gonna have a nice, even, dark cocoa look. Nice dark roasted product. Right now the coffee is cooling. This keeps it rotating, that way nothing is sit and builds up the heat, continues on roasting. And then what you hear going on as well is there's a fan, and that fan is sucking out any extra hot air. That way we can cool within 4 to 6 minutes. After our roasting process is cooled and ready to go into the next step, it goes to the destoner. And what the destoner does, the destoner takes out objects like this. And from here, the coffee will be stored in here for a day or so, no more, because we don't want any air to get to it. Then it goes to the packaging. And from here, it'll be bagged and sealed and then sent to you lovely customers. Today, I'm proud to say that we are in Costco's, distributed through US Foods and First Choice, as well as Walmart's. And my passion and my goal is to fulfill my father's dream and making this company a global coffee company. And keep your eye out for Blind Dog Coffee's first coffee house. And as my dad would say, can't wait to see ya.
Ian, the story is powerful, just as it is. But what makes this even more impressive is the vision of Blind Dog Coffee to give back. If you wouldn't mind sharing what that looks like.
To start off that conversation a little bit, Angel Kiss Foundation was the first Northern Nevada childhood cancer foundation. And what that evolved into was Northern Nevada Children Cancer Foundation. And that's our give back. We try to do as much as we can to help them in any way. We've got a monthly program that we ship them coffee and they utilize it to their families in need, as well as they created a tree in their office of areas and people who donate a certain amount. Since the beginning of Blind Dog Coffee, my dad wanted to make sure that he gave back, so he tied himself with Angel Kiss Foundation, which was the original Northern Nevada Children Cancer Foundation. So halfway through that, they changed the name, and we just tied ourselves to that. And as we tied ourselves to that, when you buy a portion of Blind Dog Coffee, we donate a portion of our proceeds to Northern Nevada Children's Cancer Foundation. That's our way of giving back, and we just want to continue growing that to be one of Northern Nevada Children's Cancer Foundation's biggest sponsors. Tanner's Roast is a tribute roast to a little boy who had the same cancer as my father, which is retinoblastoma. The tie for Tanner and Blind Dog Coffee was his grandparents' house was behind my parents' property. And that little boy would come on a regular basis and hang out with my father. Tanner was about 3 years old when my parents met Tanner, and they knew him for the next 2 years. This roast was created in his memory, and his family has asked us to keep this roast alive in his honor.
That's Ian and Yulia Berry. Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you for coming.
Great coffee, great cause. And if you want to get your order in, you can give them a call at 775-265-2176 or visit them at blinddogcoffee.com or find them at one of their distributors.
Absolutely.
Thanks again so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming in once again. It was a pleasure.
For more information on this guest or to see this show in its entirety, visit nvbusinesschronicles.com. While you're there, you can watch all of our past shows on the Chronicles page and stay connected with us by following us on our social media. Now more from Nevada Business Chronicles.
There are going to be a lot of our viewers that know this extraordinary business that's been in Northern Nevada, in Reno, in Midtown for more than 2 decades. And others are going to be very excited to learn about the history here.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the Melting Pot World Emporium, how it's got its start.
Monique and I got together while we were working at a cafe here in town, which no longer exists, called Du Grenay. A lot of people know that establishment because it was a very iconic place in its day. It's been closed for about 10 years. But Monique and I got together working there in 1993. June 1993. 19th at their annual party. That's true. And we were going to a lot of festivals at that time, music festivals, and we decided that we would start our own vending business. And so we started vending at music festivals. And we did that for 2 seasons. And then we opened the Melting Pot in 1996 on Wells Avenue. It was in a small space, 600 square feet. We were there for 3 years. We continued vending at that during that time, and Monique was still working full-time at UPS, and I was waiting part-time, and I was waiting tables. We were there for 3 years, and then we moved it to our second location, which was Virginia and Taylor, right up the street, and we were there for 7 years.
And then in between that, we went to India.
We did. We got to do some traveling. India, Nepal, Thailand.
February.
Which is just kind of really helped push the store in that direction with the Eastern feel that it has.
Yeah. A friend of ours who was a customer, she invited us to her wedding in India, and that was an amazing opportunity. So we were able to travel in 99 to go to India for about a month, and she chaperoned us all around. We went to all kinds of different regions. And that was such an amazing time for us because we loved that culture, very attracted to the East Indian art, all the deities. That was always our gravitational pull, actually. And so we were there for about a month. Like I said, we went to her wedding.
It was a little side trip to Nepal.
Side trip to Nepal, which was incredible. Yeah. The sweetest people on the planet. Tiny, super tiny, and very adorable. And it was a great opportunity for us. We bought 2 giant duffel bags full of things and stuffed them to the brim and brought some of those things back with us.
When we returned from our trip to India, the space up the street at Virginia and Taylor was available, and we moved our business from Wells to Virginia. We were there for 7 years. During that time, we became the ticket outlet for Burning Man, which helped expand our business greatly. As Burning Man was growing, so were we. 7 years into 10 years into it, we moved to this location where we are now.
I tried, I love the space. I saw a for rent sign, and I immediately called on it. And he said, well, you got to send in your letter of intention. So I wrote my letter and sent it in. And then a week or 2 later, I'm like, hey, what's up? And he's like, oh, you didn't get it. And you didn't want to sign a lease option. So I'm like, sure I did. What do you mean I didn't want it? So I didn't get it. This Thai furniture place came in. Beautiful, giant statuary thing. Never opened 1 year. Never opened. I would come by and look and see because I was very attracted to those things. Never opened. 1 year later, sign in the window. Hey, it's me again. Oh, yeah, I remember you, the girl from the Melting Pot. I'm like, yeah, I want your space. Okay. And we worked it out. We got in, and here we are 10 years later in this amazing space.
Definitely the best smelling part of the whole store.
It is. There's a lot of incense over here in the spiritual nook. Yeah, especially stuff from India, Nepal, Thailand. We have sage and Palo Santo and all kinds of things that smell really nice. And that makes the whole store smell really nice, of course. Yeah, it's one of the trademark smells of this place, for sure.
Very peaceful, very serene in this area.
It is, yeah. And this is, it's kind of the spiritual center of the store as far as a lot of the Eastern stuff, Buddhist and Hindu, and a lot of statues and Tibetan prayer flags and singing bowls and bells and tingsas and mala beads and didgeridoos and just on and on.
A little of everything here.
Prayer cushions and it's a really neat part of the store.
I can't wait to show them the next stop on our journey.
Yeah, right next door, the 18 and over smoke shop section.
Well, let's take a look.
Okay.
Your business model for your smoke shop, completely unique to others.
Yeah, I want it to be another part of our business that's accessible to everybody. I want people to be able to come in here and have their questions answered professionally, and that we can stand behind what we sell and understand what we're selling and help people get what's going to work best for them, people who are looking for something in a smoke shop.
A lot classier than other smoke shops in our community. Tell us a little bit about the diversity of products that you carry here.
Well, we carry a lot of different hand-blown glass pipes and water pipes and things that are made locally and from a lot of our glass blower friends that we do work with in Oregon and in Washington and different areas this stuff comes from. We carry a lot of detox to help people with different detoxification deadlines and needs they may have, and everything from rolling papers and hemp and rice and flax and undyed paper and clear papers and lots of little accessories and things you might need to make pieces work, or little pull bowls for water pipes or down stems or things like that. We do a lot kratom. Kratom is a natural pain reliever from Southeast Asia. Most of it comes from Thailand. People use this very successfully for pain management and inflammation, can help with sleep and anxiety, and it's wonderful actually.
These are very interesting. Looks like you sell soda, but...
Right, the can safes. Yeah, those are kind of an old smoke shop classic or standard too. Those have been around as long as I can remember. But yeah, those are secret safes and things that could disguise your valuables and go places where people wouldn't expect to find your valuables stashed away. We have shisha, which is for the kind of the Eastern hookahs and big tobacco water pipes.
A huge selection of vaping supplies, but that's not just for tobacco here.
No, exactly. Yeah, we have a lot of handheld vaporizers, some tabletops, although they're not as popular these days, and dry flower vaporizers and concentrate vaporizers. A lot of accessory batteries that will take screw-on adapters that could take all kinds of different, from dry flower to concentrates to e-juice.
Now that everyone's got their groove going on, what do we get to look at next?
Let's check out the novelty section.
Let's do it.
Okay.
These are the greatest cards I've ever seen. You have a lot of great gift-giving ideas for the holidays, for birthdays, for any occasion.
We do. It's so diverse. We have so much fun stuff. The cards and the journals and the antique replica light bulbs and the books and keychains and all the stuff that's kind of remnants from Burning Man, because we're so big into Burning Man. We've got so much cool stuff from that season year-round.
Great gift-giving place.
Absolutely.
Who's this lovely lady?
Well, this is Naomi. She's been with us for a long time. And at night, when we close the doors, I think all the mannequins, I think they have a party.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm pretty sure.
At the melting pot, people can come in and they can get their groove on.
Absolutely.
They can get their holiday on.
Yep.
They can get their steampunk on.
Absolutely.
They can get their Eskimo on.
Yeah. They're Eskimo. We can work that out.
They can get their costume on.
It's true.
Such a great, fun atmosphere. Great clothing line.
Yeah, we do. We have lots of amazing, incredible lines of clothing. Very festive, very casual, very across the map, all the different genres that you can imagine. We carry a lot of clothing.
The Melting Pot is such a perfect name for us because this is a combination of Monique and myself, all of our favorite stuff, and stuff from all over the world. On our business card, one of our mantras is love, respect, unity, doorway to the world. That pretty much covers it. That's our whole mission statement.
Big changes coming?
Yeah, we're excited. We're putting a new facade on our building. This is a photo of what it's going to look like. It's an ad that we're running right now, but this is what it's actually going to look like. And so it's going to be a big upgrade for us, a really neat addition to Midtown, I think. I'm really excited about it.
You're going to be the landmark of Midtown. What are you talking about?
I hope so. We've been on the street for 17 years.
Here you are, Mitch. Some love beads. Can't go out the door without those.
Thank you so much for having me here today. It's been such a pleasure. Unbelievable.
Yeah, thank you, Mitch.
Thank you,
really
Mitch.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. That was really fun.
We're located at 1049 South Virginia Street, 1 block north of Vassar. Our phone number is 775-322-9445, or you can find us online at meltingpotworldemporium.com. Thanks, Mitch. It was
Thanks
great
for having me.
Okay.
I loved every minute of it.
For more information on this guest or to see this show in its entirety, visit nvbusinesschronicles.com. While you're there, you can watch all of our past shows on the Chronicles page and stay connected with us by following us on our social media. Now more from Nevada Business Chronicles.
Today we're visiting one of our local boutiques with Monique and Eric Barron with the Neon Dragonfly eclectic, not electric,
Right,
boutique.
eclectic. Yeah. The name on the awning outside is the Neon Dragonfly Eclectic Boutique, but it does kind of look like electric. And people drive by and see all the lamps in the window, and that kind of sticks in their brain. And we do have lamps. We have a lot of lamps.
Very cool eclectic lamps.
Eclectic.
Well, creating new history for our community, you're also preserving a piece of history for our future generations here.
Yeah, when we did the remodel on the building, we purchased the building about 10 years ago, and it was the yoga shack for a couple years. And then when she moved on, we did the remodel and we transitioned it into a retail space. And at that time, we completely opened up the front of the building because it was just cinder block, and we put in these big picture windows, this exposed duct heating and air conditioning system. We tore down this wall that was right here where we're standing, which was separated the two different studios. We put this big awning on the front, which the frame was repurposed from another older building here in town, and then we had a new awning made for it, reskinned it. So it retains its original charm. It's got creaky floors, and it's a really neat space, but then it's got some modern aspects which give it more curb appeal and make it the eclectic boutique that it is.
You have taken great pride in preserving some of the history for our community and future generations while bringing a new history to our community as well.
In the mid-60s, it was a home of a dance teacher. She taught ballet, and she added on to her home, and this became the Reno Ballet Arts Academy. And it was that for many years. We've actually had customers that have come in and say, I took ballet here, and it's pretty neat.
It's important that we all feel comfortable in what we wear. There's a couple things that we need. It's food, clothing, and shelter. It is really important for us to recognize and honor women in all their beauty, shape, size. I will never compromise on quality. We do a lot of fair trade. We try to buy from conscious companies. I've had one of these mugs for, at least 10 years.
They're all inlaid, and there's just really a great feel. What are these bottles about? They're beautiful.
These are awesome. This is a local friend of mine who has these etched here in Reno. And it's a water bottle or whatever, but usually people use these for waters. And it's just a positive, the chakra colors, but it puts positive energy into your water.
Maybe there's a little truth to the electric boutique.
Really, Captain Obvious? Actually, we do. We have a lot of diverse lighting here. We have some that are vintage, some that are modern, very beautiful and pretty and feminine, and some that are more like, masculine. So it's quite a big array of different kinds of lighting. We've used ballet bars all around the store. So these bars here are holding all these lamps and these scarves. We have another ballet bar that we're using for that as well. And these ballet bars are really old, and there's a lot of energy behind it, and it's kind of cool to repurpose that sort of thing.
we're going to get to see some beautiful women wearing your beautiful clothes today.
Yes, we are. We're going to see some amazing outfits on some beautiful women.
Well, let's go.
Let's go.
One of the other things I'm sure is going to bring a lot of women down here, jewelry. Oh, and more jewelry.
Yeah. Should we talk about the jewelry?
Let's talk about jewelry.
So jewelry, yes, I love jewelry, and we do have a nice selection of all kinds of different, beautiful, fine sterling and gemstone jewelry. We have some sort of playful kind of costumes sort of jewelry, but a lot of like really neat pieces.
One of the things I'm present to is, like you said before, everything is the highest quality. This is just nicer than you see at other places. And again, for whether it's a gift to yourself or a gift for somebody else, definitely top shopping list place to go.
Most definitely, yeah. There's some really neat pieces. These are really interesting. My friend Crystalline, she makes these out of actual orchids. So this picture, like this orchid, corresponds to the piece that she made it, like the actual flower that it used to be. I'm not sure how the process works, but then what is left with is the flower goes away, and then the cast of the metal is left where the flower was. So it's pretty awesome.
I've had such a wonderful time at the Neon Dragonfly Eclectic Boutique. For those people who have driven down the street all this time thinking it said Electric Boutique. And you can find them at 214 California Avenue, adjacent to the Nevada Museum of Art. Find them on the internet at theneondragonfly.com or give them a call at 775-737-9780. Thanks again so much for having me.
Yes, likewise, Mitch. That was a really good time. Appreciate you coming down and doing the story.
Enjoyed every minute.
Thank you. Thanks.
For more information on this guest or to see this show in its entirety, visit nvbusinesschronicles.com. While you're there, you can watch all of our past shows on the Chronicles page and stay connected with us by following us on our social media. For information on becoming a guest on our show, contact us at info@nvbusinesschronicles.com. We hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for watching. Tune in next week at the same time for more from Nevada Business Chronicles.